discuss color texture image segmentation, which is a part of image processing lecture series. This is having three parts. The first part is the motivation and the definition of image segmentation. Next part will discuss the various features like the color and the texture and their integration. The third part will discuss the image segmentation techniques and their performance evaluation. In the agenda, we are having three parts. Part 1, definition of the image segmentation. Part 2, color feature, texture feature and their integration. Third part, unsupervised segmentation, quantitative evaluation, comparative study. The color image segmentation approaches, how did it evolve? Initial days, it was application specific, which could segment only a tissue segmentation for the medical images or a simple scenic image where a road could be extracted and a tree could be extracted. But when it came to a complex texture like the pavement, various types of pavements, their textures, it was very challenging to find out that the whole part of this complex texture is one and is part of a pavement. So this lack of generality of the texture model gave rise to the research, and independently texture analysis emerged as an independent study with respect to the application domain. The algorithmic sophistication increased when it paved way to the domain independence. The color texture image segmentation, given an image, this is the segment, one of the segmentation achieved by an algorithm. The images for research activities are taken from benchmark dataset. One of the most widely used benchmark dataset for natural images is Berkeley segmentation dataset, which has 300 images. In order to do a performance evaluation on the segmentation achieved, the ground truths are required, which is being provided with the benchmark dataset, where each image is segmented by the help of 5 to 7 human subjects. As we know that the segmentation is subjective in nature for the humans, hence 5 to 7 ground truths for each image is being obtained. The various performance measures are probability rand index, variation of information, global consistency error, boundary displacement error, which we will be discussing subsequently in our next lecture. After doing the segmentation with the proposed algorithm, the comparison is done with the state-of-art algorithms to see what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of the proposed algorithm. The image segmentation to automate is still an open challenge. We try to mimic the human visual system. There are three types of human vision: monochromatic, photopic, mesopic visions. For low illumination level, rods are active. For normal daylight, cones are active. For dark surround or dim surround, both rods and cones are active. Depending on the vision, the object perception is made. Then another important factor of the human visual system is visual acuity. The spatial resolving capacity, which enables the eye to see the fine details, is termed as visual acuity. To represent the surrounding environment, both eyes and brain work in tandem for capturing the region of interest. For example, the number plate in the car is the region of interest. So, the human visual acuity will try to do a spatial resolving capacity to get the fine details present in the number plate. So continually the human visual system assembles a higher resolution image in order to visualize the fine details. So it's a unified approach. The human visual system measures electromagnetic spectrum ranging from approximately 400 to 700 nanometer, and the humans perceive the visible part of the spectrum as color. Color is a pixel feature and texture is an aggregate feature. Hence, the texture feature analyzes locally the variation in the spatial content in the neighborhood of the pixel. As the texture is an aggregate feature, the perceptual grouping to assess that this particular pixels form a group and they are homogeneous in terms of texture feature is a challenging task. And there are collection of theories behind the development of colors like the trichromatic theory, Herring's opponent color theory, Isaac Newton's color circle, which we will discuss later. So what is image segmentation? A segmentation is psychophysical perception, hence the decomposition of an image into regions should be significant in relation to the application that is using such results. For example, if my application is a video surveillance, then significant region would be human and the objects from the scene. They become the regions of interest. So depending on the application, the segmentation becomes of psychophysical perception and the algorithm should be intelligent enough to decompose them into the regions of interest. The definitions in terms of partitioning: segmentation is the process of partitioning an image into disjoint and homogeneous regions. Homogeneous regions, that means its homogeneity in terms of with respect to certain characteristics such as color, texture, grayscale intensities. The problem of segmenting the objects of an image can be viewed as finding clusters. Why do we need color image segmentation? Segmentation plays a fundamental role as first step before applying to images for higher level operations such as image analysis, image understanding, computer vision tasks such as recognition, semantic interpretation, content-based image retrieval. What is a good segmentation? For the humans, it is subjective in nature, hence we cannot quantify a good segmentation. But as we are talking about automation, doing the segmentation using the computers, then the desirable property of good segmentation are the following. The segments obtained should be homogeneous with respect to certain characteristics. The segments must show spatial compactness. The regions are grouped as one with similar properties. Both feature space homogeneity and the spatial compactness at the same time should be satisfied. Each segment should be complete in its totality. Psychovisual perception, hence subjective in nature, but we have to try to minimize that subjectivity and convert certain factors to objective in order to do a performance analysis at the later stage. How do the human brain achieve this perceptual grouping? It's based on Gestalt's law and Gestalt psychology, where these are certain laws like proximity laws, the similarity, where we can see the black circles are similar compared to the white circles. Continuity. As humans, we perceive two lines intersecting each other, but it can also mean four lines joining at one point. Closure, where we are able to perceive as humans and triangle which is invisible in the picture. Area, the small and the biggest one enclosing it, the symmetricity. So the object segmentation focuses on these laws. Like principles of similarity will be used for low level feature discrimination. Principles of proximity and closure for merging very small spatially connected neighboring regions. Principles of simplicity incorporated for texture characterization and classification based on directionality and orientation. Entity as a whole cannot be simply deduced from its parts together. Rather, its respective parts are specified and gets influenced by the inherent perceptual structure of the whole. Let's understand it bit by bit. Entity as a whole. Say for example, let us take this picture. Cannot be deduced from its parts put together. If I put these parts separately, this broken three circles, then we do not perceive it as a perceptual structure as a whole. As a whole, we perceive a triangle which cannot be deduced when we were putting the parts separately. So rather, the perceptual grouping concept comes when we are seeing the structure and getting influenced it as a whole rather than as parts. Segmentation is subjective for humans, objective for computer vision because it's a psychophysical perception, and decomposition of regions should be significant in relation to the computer application used for the vision tasks. Probability rand index, variation of information, global consistency error, and boundary displacement error. We will discuss these in details in the subsequent lectures. Hence, we come to the end of the part 1 of the segmentation lecture. Philosophically, we came to know what is segmentation, how humans perceive the segmentation based on perceptual grouping based on the Gestalt's law, and when we try to automate using the computer the segmentation task, then what are the features widely used such as the colors and the textures, and hence we also will try to mimic the HVS, that is the human visual system, into our algorithm.